Despite the long night, Charlotte awoke early, only to find that Wrexford had already risen. Perhaps he too had been plagued by unsettling dreams. She dressed in a rush, unsure why a feeling of misgiving still plagued her thoughts. The fire, however unfortunate, didn't spark a reason for A.J. Quill to bring it to the attention of the public. As for the so-called race to discover an ocean-going marine propulsion system, she didn't know nearly enough about the subject to make an informed commentary. Not yet. She had already done a series of prints on steam engines and their momentous effect on society, but if this new development was as revolutionary as Sheffield had implied, perhaps it merited a closer look. The ambrosial scent of fresh-brewed coffee drew her to the breakfast room. Wrexford wasn't there, so after pouring herself a cup, Charlotte headed to the rear of their townhouse. She paused in the doorway of his main workroom. He was sitting at his desk, head bent, his face half in shadow. She guessed that he hadn't heard the whisper of her slippers in the corridor, for he didn't look up. Charlotte took a moment to study his profile. Even hazed in the half-light of early morning, she could recognize all the little, subtle shades of his expression, all the tiny fissures and angles of his face that had become so inexpressibly dear to her. "What's wrong?" she asked softly. "Have you learned something more about the fire?" No. He gave a wry grimace. "I doubt Kit will rouse himself from sleep until supper-time." Yet there was an undertone of agitation in his voice that stirred a frisson of alarm.